What's going on? Welcome back. After doing bank, I'm going to approach Europa, a retired machine on HackTheBox Linux machine. In this machine, we're going to be exploiting an old implementation of the regular expression function in PHP. After that, we're going to establish foothold on the system. And from that point onward, we will do privilege escalation by manipulating and changing a script running in the Chrome tab. Okay, so here's Nmap scan. Nmap scan clearly shows that we have 3 open ports, SSH, 80, and 443. And in Nmap scan, you see we have a domain names appearing here, so you have to add these to the host file in order to be able to access them. So as you can see, I have added these to the host file. Now I can access these domains. So let's go over the browser. Now the first, try to access admin portal Europa Corp. Click on advanced, process, proceed. So right off the bat, we see a login form. And since we don't have any hint about a word list, right? So we're gonna assume that the objective here is to exploit SQL injection. So intercept the request. Okay, I forgot to add the here on. Okay, so how do we test if there is SQL injection, guys? Let's put here single quote and intercept the response. You see, we have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to your MySQL server. So there is SQL injection in the web application. Forward. Now, one thing to note is when you enter the login credentials, if you enter code here, it's not going to work. You have to intercept the request with purpose and add it, okay, in order to know and test it out. So basically here we have SQL injection. Now all we have to do is to take the manual path or the automatic path. So we have done enough manual SQL injection. I'm gonna just use right off the bat Sqlmap, and from here let me take the request login. At test.com, fine. Take the request. And launch the command. So here sudo nano request. So basically, as you can see, Sqlmap has finished, and we have two databases. Now we can choose to interact with the databases and find more details about what is in there. So what we can do here, let's repeat this. And instead of dash dash GPS, we're going to specify the database we are interested in. Remove dash dash form, dash u, and now dash t, database admin, dash dash dump, dash home, dash dash batch. Let's see here. Testing if the URL is stable. Okay. So we have got now the password hashes, as you can see, for the administrator and for John. Now we can crack these hashes online with a crack station, for example. Of course, we are interested in the administrator. Okay, let's see if we can find MD5 decryption. What is this? Okay, encrypt. Not found. Fine, this is very good. Let's try hash killer. MD5. Um, okay. So it is secret password, super secret password. Now let's take that and get back. So here type admin. This one. Okay. We're logged in now. Now the next step is to exploit the dashboard. So basically we go to tools, and in the tools we notice there is what seems to be an open configuration generator. So here, as you can see, it takes an input from the user and generates kind of VPN file, right? So if we examine here, as you can see, OpenVPN, and right? It takes the IP address and replace the input value here in the remote section, remote IP address. Okay, so what to do here? So basically the first keynote here is that the page uses PHP language, right? And here it seems to be taking an input from the user, right? And the input here is, as you can see, if we try something like 192.168.1.1 and type generate, see what's going to happen. New configuration. All right, so we copy the code and we have the open API. Now let's intercept the request now with Suite and see how this looks like. Okay, so this is the page that is responsible for handling the VPN generation, and we have the parameters. So here we have pattern, as you can see, and we have IP address, we have text. So basically, this is the input we have just typed, and this is what is transferred over to the VPN generator. Now here we have the pattern. As you can see, this pattern exists every time we submit an input. So basically what changes here is the IP address. Since we are dealing with PHP and we have a pattern, we might try to exploit the pattern. So basically there is a vulnerability in older implementations of PHP that exploits vulnerable regular expressions or patterns. So basically you can see that here. So, okay, let's forward the request now, no need. So here, PHP, regular expression, pattern, exploit. So let's see here. So actually this is the function that's implemented in PHP, of course the older versions, and handles the regular expressions. So the vulnerability actually is in command injection and exists in this function, which is very old. I guess it's PHP 5. So what we can do here, guys, as you can see here is an explanation of how this works. So we're going to use the /e modifier. Let me get back straightforward to the explanation. So if we generate the request here one more time, new configuration, so what we will do here, as you can see, we will put /e. Okay, so if you put the modifier /e here, we will be able to, let's put e here. Okay, if we put e here, we will be able to execute commands in the input. So instead of feeding an IP address to the application, we're going to instruct the application to execute system command. Why? Because we put e here, which is a modifier, basically. It's not out of the blue we put e. It is the modifier that if we put it here, it's going to make the IP address or the input that is denoted by IP address in this case executable. So let's try something like system ID. Okay, now check out the response. Okay, as you can see, the command has been executed. So now we can generate a payload with MSF Venom and insert it here. Let's forward the request. See the output here on the page. We have the ID of the current user. Fine. Let's get back here and split this, or no need to split actually. Now here comes the payload part. we're not going to generate a meta payload. Let's opt for regular CMD payload or netcut reverse shell. -p CMD Unix reverse. So this is your payload, like that. Of course, before we put this in the parameter value, we're going to need to encode this. So we're going to need to head to encode decoder, and here encode, as you can see, as URL. And here we have the matching formula of this in URL encoded form. Take it, and now we will intercept the request one more time. New configuration. Proxy is on. Send the request. So here, put E, and now type system, two parentheses, two single quotes, between them the payload. Head back, and send. So we received the reverse shell right away. Type ID, and now we have established the connection. So upon receiving the connection back from the machine, right now what we will do is to escalate the privileges. So first we put the version, we try to understand what is the version of the operating system. Okay, now the way to escalate the privileges here is to list the cron tabs, okay, and find something running in a cron tab, and in the cron tab we will exploit a script running as a cron job. So scat cron cat etc cron tab. So there is here a script running as a cron job. Let's see what is the content of that script. Cron jobs. So let's see what the script does. So it seems to be executing a script here called log cleared.sh, but first it seems to be clearing the logs of the Apache server. So here what we can do, let's first understand if we can modify on this script by listing the permissions. ls.la var jobs clear logs. Yeah. So here's the clear logs script, and here are the permissions. So it is running as root, but we can't modify on it, as you can see. We're not allowed. We're only allowed to read the script. So we can try our luck with this one. If we can modify on this one, it's going to be executed. So let's do ls-la var cmd. So the script doesn't exist, which means we can write one. So how to know if we can write one? We first have to make sure that we can write on this directory. So ls-la var. So cmd data can write on here. So let's start a script on this directory. cd var cmd. So we are in CMD. Now I have generated here a payload. It's the same payload, okay, we have generated earlier to exploit the VPN. Copy that. What we're going to do here, we're going to create a script called clear logs or log cleared and make the cron job execute our script. So echo to this output. Okay, run the listener here or split the tab, two listeners at the same time. Oh no, man. 4546. Yeah, that's right. Let's wait now for the connections from the remote host. So basically, when the cron job executes, it will, let's go up, it will execute this script, which has been written by us. And as the cron job is running as root, we will receive the reverse shell as root. Oh, we did forget to do actually is to give permission to the script to run. So here, chmod log. Let's see now if we receive something. So as you can see, we received the connection ID, and we are the root. So cd root cat root. Done.